Yeah, I was going to ask you, obviously you're going to be hitting the road the next couple of days. Are you envisioning any sort of meeting here in Washington between the Sudanese as well as the Israelis? And then I'm just curious, what's it like to try to do something like this while also campaigning? And you're trying to, I know you've got a success, but trying to do something like this.
My life. Do I have a choice? Do I have a choice? This is all things I've been working on, and then the campaign begins, and I think last night was very, very successful. We've gotten great reviews, great polls, great everything, and I had won 91% to 9. That's good, but no, it was an exciting night. A tremendous audience, I understand. They are bigger than they even thought, and it was certainly an exciting night. But I have to, this is my day job. I have to do this. This is very important.
So, are they coming to D.C., sir?
We will have them, along with some other countries that you will be hearing about coming, probably simultaneously. And then ultimately we're going to have a big reunion at the end where everybody's here and everybody's going to be signed. And we expect that Saudi Arabia will be one of those countries and highly respected. The king and the crown prince are all just highly respected in the Middle East. And Mohammed from UAE, very highly respected, a warrior. He's really a great warrior. So they'll all come together. We're going to have a big, beautiful party at the end, okay? And you'll be there, okay? Okay. Anybody else have a question?
Another question about the debate last night.
Yeah.
I know obviously this is very important. I think everybody was watching the debate last night. You seemed much more calm and measured at the podium. How much of that was you kind of trying to change your strategy, or was that you wanting to play by the debate commission's rules? What were you kind of was going through your mind? Because you did seem to jump out in the first debate.
I think the other is more effective in terms of business and life. The first one, I thought I did great. There are certain groups of very aggressive people that loved the first debate, but I think this was better. This is obviously a more popular way of doing it. And no, I think, I wanted to play by the rules. They felt very strongly about it. It's two different styles. I'm able to do different styles, if you had to, but this seemed to be much more popular.
Would you do another debate?
Yeah, but I don't think there's any reason. I think we're leading in a lot of states that you don't know about. Your pollsters may be the worst there are, by the way.
Do you stand by your statement that you take responsibility for the pandemic that you said last night, sir?
I always take responsibility, and I've done a great job, and the people around me have done a great job, just like these people have done a great job. The pandemic people, what they've done for ventilators and for equipment and for stocking governors that had absolutely nothing. They had nothing on their shelves, and we stocked them. And those governors, if they're honest, they'll tell you we've done the best job they've ever seen. I've had governors say it's one of the best jobs they've ever seen anybody doing anything. What we did, we made a lot of governors look good. And there are a lot of good governors, too, by the way. They did a good job. But they had nothing. They didn't have ventilators. They didn't have gowns. They didn't have masks or goggles or anything. And we got them. And think of it, ventilators are very tough. Not one person, with all of this going on, not one person who needed a ventilator didn't get it. And that's very untrue in other countries. In other countries, very few people were able to get. We're now supplying ventilators to many other countries because they're very hard to make. They're very complex, very hard to make, very expensive. So, no, I think we've done a great job.
Can I ask again, Secretary of the Nation offer an update on stimulus talks with Speaker Pelosi?
I think we can, sure. I think we can. Go ahead, Steve.
The President's been very clear in his instructions to me that if we can get the right deal, we're going to do that. We've been speaking to the Speaker. I would say we've offered compromises. The Speaker on a number of issues is still dug in. If she wants to compromise, there will be a deal. But we've made lots of progress in lots of areas, but there's still some significant differences that we're working through.
One of the big differences that and I said it last night loud and clear, she wants to bail out poorly run Democrat states. They're poorly run, both in terms of crime and in terms of economics. And we just don't want that. We want COVID-related. But she wants to bail out poorly run Democrat states. And that's a problem because you're talking about tremendous amounts of money. And we don't want to reward areas of our country who have not done a good job. And a lot of those areas have not done a good job on medical and COVID, frankly. If you look at New York and if you look at some others, it's been very rough. But we don't want to do that. Now we're talking and we'll see what happens. But at this moment, I would say that I actually think Nancy would rather wait till after the election. She thinks it's a good point for the election, but I think it's against her because the American people know it's her that's stopping the money to going to them. So, I really believe it. I think she views it as a good election point, perhaps. She's, good for November 3rd. I'd like to see the people get the money. I don't think she wants the people to get the money before the election. I don't think that's a good point for her. But we want the people to get the money. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault. It was China's fault. The plague came in from China. Okay? And that's about it. No. That's enough. That's enough. Thank you. 4 questions is too many.
With Armenia and Azerbaijan.
Yes, we're talking about it. We're working with Armenia. We have a very good relationship with Armenia. They're very good people. They're so dedicated. They're incredible people, and we'll see what happens.
Have you spoken to either leader in the last month?
I don't want to say, but we will see what happens. I think really good progress is being made with respect to that. Armenia is, we have a lot of people living in this country from Armenia, originally from Armenia, and they're great people, and we're going to help them. Okay?
Can we ask about the weekend? So obviously you've got...
Prime Minister, sir, you mentioned a potential scenario in which Iran would be part of a peace deal.
No, I think at the very end, Iran will be, I can see that.
Can we ask Prime
I can see that. You see that?
Absolutely.
I would say that. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Prime Minister Netanyahu, if you can hear me, Jeff Mason.
This is Jeff Mason. He's got a mask on. That's the largest mask I think I've ever seen. So I don't know if you can hear him, but he wants to know about what you gentlemen think about. As I said, when it's all finished up and everybody's in the deal, I said that I wouldn't be surprised to see Iran be very friendly also. You have everybody unified. And I think that Iran will be in some way involved. What do you think about that?
I was beginning to say that when I spoke in the American Congress, I didn't say I was opposed to any deal. I said I was opposed to that deal because that deal lifted all sorts of restrictions from Iran and did not condition any change, require any change of behavior from Iran. So Iran essentially increased its aggression after the deal rather than reduce it. With ballistic missiles, with enrichment of uranium for atomic bombs, with all sorts of terrorism in the region. So I think that if a new deal is offered, and that's what I actually said when I spoke to the U.S. Congress, a different deal is offered, it would be welcome. I think that will only happen if Iran faces, I would say, faces strong opposition to its aggression of the kind that has been forwarded by you, Mr. President. I don't think if you're soft on Iran, you're not going to get peace with Iran. If you're strong against Iran and prevent it, as you have just said, from achieving nuclear weapons, then I think that they might come around to a better deal. A better deal, a real deal, I think is something that no one will be opposed to. But so far, that's not been available.
When everybody is unified, and this is all done, and it won't be in a long period of time, Iran will be in some way involved. If not part of the deal, they'll be very happy. And you know what? They're tired of fighting too. They're tired of what's going on. Those are great people, and they want an end to it. They want an end to it. In fact, if we win the election, they all want me to say when, but I always say if because it's an election, right? If we win the election, one of the first calls I'll get will be from Iran. Let's make a deal. One of the first calls I'll get. So they don't want me to win, and Russia doesn't want me to win either. You know what's unique about those two countries? They both don't want me to win, and that's okay. But I think we're going to win, and I think if you start looking at what's happening in these states and the votes that are coming in, and the amount of votes that are coming in, and the great red wave hasn't hit yet. That hits in a few days. It's going to be a great red wave like you've never seen before. You're going to have a wave like you've never seen before. It's going to be all red, and it's going to be a thing of beauty. Have a good time, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.